Not a day goes by when I don't see some form of advertisement on, the Facebooks and the LinkedIns of the world telling you that you've got to scale your business to be successful. You've got to be able to hire lots of people, replicate the success, build a large business to have an enjoyable, profitable life. And I can't stress enough how much I think these models are really tripping a lot of people up, chasing the scale, if you like. And, we're always hearing about scale ups and so on. But, as a business practitioner, I've played on both sides of the fence. I have, been in scale ups where I've been trying to grow a very substantial enterprise, hiring lots of people, replicating all the business models and so on, trying to get to a certain quantum. In this instance, for me personally, it was over an 8-figure level of revenues, and all the challenges that come with that, and the stress and the heartache. I cannot tell you how much I did not enjoy that whole process. Took 10 years of my life and it was a really, really hard road and a hard journey. And before I embarked on it, I was kind of swept up with advisors who were telling me, you've got to scale your business. If you ever want to sell your business, you've got to scale it. You've got to build to a certain revenue number. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I fell into the trap of believing the hype. And before I did it, I had, my father was my mentor, and I'd observed this particular individual in the market who used to work alongside me in Chifley Tower, in the serviced offices there. And this individual had a business model whereby he was generating at least 3 million, maybe even more per annum, 3 to 5 million, I would guess. He was in a very specialist part of the professional services market. He was in executive search, but in a very narrow field. And he used to run his business with one secretary and a little bit of, admin support on top of that. He used to produce a very, very sophisticated report each year that was heavily endorsed by all the community in the banking and the finance world. And he used to take off to Hawaii every year for about a month. And this individual had a particular named company, and I can't say the name of the company because I'll give his private information away, but let's just call it the Wall Street model for the sake of the argument. This individual had the best of all worlds, had incredibly high revenues, was a specialist in the market, had very low overheads, and had very low levels of staff. And my father and I used to debate about this. Should we go the Wall Street model, or should we go and try and grow the business? And we used to say, oh, Dad, look, the future is growing the big businesses. If we want to have a big exit, we've got to do this. And we had advisors around us that were encouraging us to scale up, scale up, scale up. And it was maybe if we'd pulled it off, maybe it would have been a different story. But I really do believe that the pathway should have been the Wall Street model from the outset, keeping businesses lean and mean, specialist services that are offered in the market, and having very low overheads and minimal staff. And, full circle, another decade later, I'm back towards what I should have probably done a decade or 2 decades ago and gone the Wall Street model. So, just be really careful as a business entrepreneur. You see a lot of stories, you see a lot of people talking about growth. I've just watched the We Crashed sort of series, which is a really good behind the scenes story about just absolutely crazy uncontrolled growth, and what happened as a consequence. But just be really careful not to fall into the trap of buying the Kool-Aid, that you have to grow and scale your business to be successful and happy in life. You can have phenomenal boutique quality professional services businesses, that just come with minimal stress, minimal overheads, minimal staff. And I think that's highly attractive these days. And so what if you don't, make hundreds of millions of dollars? If your quality of life is there and, you're going to have a much better outcome. And I always say you can only eat so much rock lobster, you can only drink so much champagne. So you don't need to have the stress and the pressure that comes with these incredible growth scale-up businesses. So just consider it. There's different pathways to achieve what you want to achieve in life. And as a business entrepreneur, be very careful of the advisors you have around you. I've had a few lessons learnt there. And, I think eventually I found the right pathway and the right model for my, what suits me best. But, it took a little bit of heartache to get there. And, I just encourage you, if you're thinking about going down an entrepreneurial pathway, don't fall for the hype. You definitely can have a very, very successful business entity with very low overheads and very low numbers of staff, which is highly attractive, I believe.